Stocks are at another record. No big deal. Joining me is Jonathan Corpina to talk about the action. Hi, Jonathan. Are you as perky as the stock market today?
I don't know. It's kind of a dreary, wet day in New York. So outside it's pretty miserable. But inside here, with a lot of green on our screen, it seems like our markets continue to shake off any negative news that's out there. We saw the risk-off trade again on Friday. Risk-on trade came back yesterday, and we're continuing to see that pattern now.
So with that said, do you think that we'll have that same sort of action, or will we hold these records this week?
I think that same action is going to continue, right? I mean, we got a pretty full calendar this week. Economic data, earnings. We've got Powell speaking right now. Other things are going to play into that. But I think once again, as we get to Friday, we might see that risk off. It seems like every weekend, investors feel like they want to go home. Not sure what's going to come out over the weekend.
Yeah, people want to have a chance to relax over the weekend, not freak out.
Yeah, and also it seems like, the coronavirus headlines have been, helping our markets move and shift, but there hasn't been any new news there yet. And sometimes I think we're underestimating the actual headlines that are probably to come. So I think that's why we see that risk-off trade.
Now, we had some earnings today. Under Armour is blaming the coronavirus for a $60 million loss in the future. Now, that company just went through a little, C-suite restructure. So do you think that companies will start blaming this for things that they really shouldn't be?
Yeah, easy to blame. In some cases, yes, it does make a difference. I mean, when we look at, Apple's earnings that came out a week and a half ago or when it was, they were talking about having to shut down stores, potentially having to shut down some of their factories there and the implications of that. But clearly there, I mean, you can use, companies can use this as an excuse for now. Yes, they're manufacturing all over the globe, and is exposure, and we're talking about a serious condition or circumstance that might continue to escalate. But I think at the end of the day, you kind of have to bring things back into reality. How much, inventory is still on hand? How much can they still, send out if the factories have to shut down for any reason, whether it's strike or government issue or weather or a virus like this? So I think they do have a little bit of a buffer and cushion. But yes, it's easy to kind of hang your hat on Corona right now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, guess who else is using it as an excuse?
Who's that?
The Fed.
Of course.
Right when Powell started talking today in this testimony, markets priced in an 82% chance that we will have a rate cut this year. Why do you think that?
Yeah, listen, I think the Fed has drawn us all down one road, but at the end of the day, they can continue to say political uncertainty, tariff uncertainty, coronavirus uncertainty. They could use these excuses to say, listen, we might have to, shift the current plan that we have in place right now and cut rates. That might change in a short period of time. They're using that now. We'll see how it all plays out.
But we also had some exciting news today. We have a merger approved with T-Mobile and Sprint. Now, we have that 5G auction resuming February 18th. So will this merger help Sprint advance at all in that 5G space?
Yeah, I think, having these two power conglomerates put together clearly gives them a shift up in the table that's there. I think this moves them to third or fourth overall behind Verizon and AT&T. But yeah, I mean, these two powerhouses coming together will give them the ability now to really up their infrastructure and be able to make significant moves that they've probably been waiting to make for a long period of time, as this merger hasn't been fully agreed upon or approved. Now that it is, they can now jump forward and try to see if they can get back up into those higher levels there.
Yeah. And on a federal level, they're here to stay.
Yeah, no, I mean, once, you have the Fed signing off on that or the government signing off on that, they're in a good place right now.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. This is Jonathan Corpina from Meridian Equity Partners here at the New York Stock Exchange.